Hi, welcome to the channel. This would be the first and the flattest Grand Seiko, after the revival of the brand in the late 80s. You will have noticed it as a quartz, and, in fact, that was fully in line with the GS philosophy of old. Simply put, attaining the highest accuracy possible. Grand Seiko SBGF, and the 8J movement in general, was produced from 1996 to the end of 2010. With 13 models representing the line, it is considered within Seiko to be one of the very best quartz movements, much better than the well-known 9F and much more stable and accurate. The information coming from internal specs from Seiko is saying the 8J was the last cost-be-damned movement they did. The feeling is the 9F is less robust, less accurate, less shielded, and, yes, unfortunately lacks the independent hour hand to easily adjust to other time zones. The 8J does all that and more. The harried salary man could now have his watch with him in the after-work sauna, and time himself for the last train. It was expensive to produce, and parts of the design made it hard to fit into thinner cases. The more cost-effective 9F on the other hand is less stable, not so resistant to temperature and magnetic fields, and costs about 30% less to produce than the 8J. Still, the 9F did re-establish some early design ideas from the 70s, notably from the King Seiko line. The sword hands have been dominant ever since. Looking at Grand Seiko's design elements, like case geometry and dial philosophy, a few things stand out. Most importantly, it's the 60s all over again. That's when the famous Tanaka established his grammar of design, which included angled surfaces in 2 dimensions only. Think about that, Zaratsu polishing is almost inevitable as a consequence. As for the movement decoration, it is not in Grand Seiko's DNA. It was later included to compete with the Swiss case and dial design. That's where Grand Seiko shines. It might be said, to its ultimate perfection, without many of the flaws that high-end Swiss brands can still display. Just take a loop and see for yourself. All dial elements are hand polished and assembled, and not just by any watchmaker. But this was nothing new. Grand Seiko, Seiko for that matter, has always had its master craftsmen that assembled stunning watches. This was most evident for the iconic and brand-defining Grand Seiko Snowflake. It marked the beginning of international acclaim for Seiko's luxury watch line, and eventually culminated in Grand Seiko becoming its own watch company.